Goes without saying, do not contact this person. This video is not to criticize him personally, but is to point out to something that I keep seeing in Western media. So, this is an individual responsible for the character and costume design on Across the Spider-Verse. Very important. Pronouns, he, him. Now, he posted that the idea was to always give her a hijab, so I took a wide look at different ways to wear it, but especially athletic versions. Swimmer's uniform was a big inspiration for me, but I also needed to consult hijab wearers on correct construction. And you can see the character design here. A lot of people in the comment section are upset that it has British symbols and they're saying the colonization is complete, but this is literally why they do it. It's to be antagonistic, like they want the backlash. If you give them the backlash on social media, you're doing what they want because they want to generate buzz. They want this to be trending. So when you go there and you complain about the fact that this fictional character, which is a Muslim, has the British symbols, you're basically getting the progressives to come up and say, oh, so you're saying that a British person can't be Muslim. And now you're going back and forth and you're giving traffic to this and it already has 50,000 likes. Okay, like this is the progressive way of doing marketing. It's like sitting in the corner of a street, and when someone passes next by, they go like, and the person goes back, and then it's like that's the way media is being promoted nowadays. Okay, it's not being promoted by showing something wholesome. It's not being promoted by showing a new villain, a new superpower, or something like. No, it's like, okay, well, what do people dislike? And it's also to contradict reality. If you look by many polls, many Muslims in the United Kingdom do not identify as British. Like there are polls where they say that they have a different identity. So this is why you have this controversy, I guess, for giving them the Union Jack. But this is not my point of the video. This is not even why I decided to make it. The reason that I make it is that it highlights the arrogance of the modern progressives, right? And I keep saying this, like people who travel around the world, people who live the European Union, the United States, and travel to Africa, India, China, rarely remain woke. And the reason for this is that in order to be woke, you have to get like this Western centrist version of the world. You cannot have your horizons broadened, right? And I'm saying this because I'm looking at it, and this person clearly does not understand Islam. Okay, like they say that they looked at how other women wear the hijab, but what he failed to do was to talk with the imam, or at least to have like a basic understanding of the Quran. Like it's not even that deep. It's just like a surface level of understanding. And I'm an atheist, and even I understand it. Okay, why do Muslim women wear hijabs? It's not that hard. Like you should ask yourself. It's not a uniform. It's not a fashion statement. No, that is a religious reason. The hijab is a religious item. It is not a fashion accessory. The reason that women wear this is to show humility. Okay, the Prophet Muhammad said in the Quran that men should cover their private parts and women should cover their head. This is to show humility. Again, is to desexualize the woman, which, by the way, it seems that Marvel is very capable at doing. Like, congratulations for making sure that she doesn't have breasts. This is a hallmark of Marvel Entertainment. In the Marvel universe, there has been a pandemic of titty cancer, and if my wife was to be isekai'd in the Marvel universe, she would not be able to find any bra size. Like, really, they do not have women with breasts anymore. Like, all of them have disappeared. And women have these broad shoulders. Like, this is the body. This is how I would draw a man, right? Like, with the body type, with the straight shoulders. And but still, I mean, what can we expect? Marvel writers, right? Like, Marvel comic book pros. They have a very limited understanding of human body anatomy. They also have a very limited understanding of religion. And again, this is what diversity is. It's lip service. Like, if you want to make an actual Muslim character, make sure that you actually understand what Islam is about And you could make an interesting Muslim character, but like they're not going to do that. They're not going to have like the personality or the religious aspect of a Muslim. They're just going to dress a woman in a hijab, and that's that. Like, congratulations, job complete. We have done our best. And in reality, Muslims are very enraged by this, because I looked at the comment section, and there's also many Muslims that do not like it. And there was another show that was made in the United States. It was about a Muslim lesbian woman, which again was wearing the hijab. And as we mentioned, the purpose is to desexualize, to show modesty. And she was also wearing makeup. I mean, the obviously Muslims didn't like that. But the very fact that she's a lesbian is haram, right? I mean, how can you have representation if you do not, like, you're trying to represent a religion that you're not even trying to study, you're not even trying to understand. So that show went quickly under because no one was watching it, right? Like, the target audience that they allegedly was for weren't watching it, and that now we see the same thing with this thing. The fact that the Spider Woman, I guess, is wearing a mask, she already covers her head. She's already desexualized. She doesn't need an extra hijab. There is absolutely no reason to have the hijab. There is no, okay, the whole thing is to cover your head. She's like wearing a burqa at this point. She's even more so, because like a burqa still has the eyes, but like her costume covers everything. You can't see anything, so she's already halal. I mean, well, depending on what imam you ask, they may say that her fighting crime is not befit of a woman, so she may be doing haram. Again, you have to consult an imam on this. But you're the one that wanted to have Muslim representation in Spider-Man. I personally think it's cringe to have any religious representation in Spider-Man. I mean, imagine if Spider-Man was like a hardcore Christian and he would just give Bible verses, he would be like, he will punish those who do not know God and do not obey the gospel of the Lord Jesus. Theoselius, chapter 1, verse 8. I mean, it would make an interesting story. It could have like an edgy version of Spider-Man, but it wouldn't be Spider-Man, in my opinion. Like, that was the whole purpose when Marvel was creating superheroes back in the day, when Stan Lee was making them. They didn't show their religion because, again, there were different Christian denominations, there were different religions, and they didn't want the reader who may not identify with that particular religion to get annoyed or to get offended. And this is why, like, the superheroes back in the day didn't even show their political affiliation. Like, you didn't know if Captain America was a Democrat or a Republican. You didn't know who Black Canary would vote for, or what political stances she would support. It's because, like, the reader could have been of a different political affiliation or mindset, and it wouldn't be proper, right? Like, they had to be watered down, pretty much like, well, not really a good example, but like the Star Wars Rey. The reason Star Wars Rey is so bland is so that, well, allegedly any woman can identify as her. But that is taken to the extreme. You can still give her a personality, but still make the personality in such a way that different people cannot find anything incredibly objectionable about it. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what diversity means for Western corporations. Bland lip service. That's it. They're not going to actually read what Islam is about. They're not going to actually try to incorporate that. And it is sad. Sure, give a Muslim Spider-Man, but make her actually Muslim. Make her actually part of the faith, and have her actions viewed in a way that, like, it would actually be interesting, right? Like, for example, how would she act if she sees someone drinking, which is haram, right? Like, would Spider-Woman, that's a Muslim, go down to that person and say that what they're doing is haram and that Allah disavows? What do they do if they have to save someone from a burning building, but that person has done haram things? You would have like these moral dilemmas that would actually be interesting to pose in a comic book if you so want. But you're not going to do that. You're not going to show complex issues. You're not going to do any of that. It's just, oh well, okay, put the clothing over her head and job is done. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.